middle children of history, man. No purpose or place. We have no Great War, no Great Depression. Our Great War is a spiritual war.
I made it. 20 minutes late, but I made it.
You did make it. You see, you're having to just own up to your Anthony mannerism. He's rubbed off on you, and accept it.
I don't know if that's something I can ever accept.
Do you at least have a good excuse where you're like buying a gun or something?
I actually was. So we don't have a local gun store. Everything's 45 minutes away. And the closest place that has guns has a pretty small selection. It's a fleet, it's a fleet supply store basically that has a gun counter. But I order something on PSA or something like that and have it shipped there. But it's still a 45-minute drive. And I knew I'd be cutting it close tonight, but I figured I could cut in just right at time to go there after work. But then I started having car issues. So that was awesome.
Yeah, that's how it goes, man. Like when you're not expecting it. Tomorrow morning, I've got to go get a trailer because I'm taking my steer in to get processed on Thursday. I just know something's going to happen. Like the trailer tire's going to blow, or like it just is how it goes.
Lights won't work.
Something like that. Like the tail lights won't work or something, Last time I borrowed a trailer from a friend of ours, and I ended up getting a 10-penny nail in it.
Oh no.
So I don't know where that even came from. So I had to go take the tire off. I had to, jack it up, take the tire off, take it down to the local tire place, have them fix it, and then bring it back. And then I had to load because loading steer into trailer can be a pain.
I bet.
And you kind of have to trap them and get them used to it overnight, or just being around it. And then the next morning, you kind of lead them in. And that's why they have an escape hatch out the side. So you can lead them in. Somebody closes the gate behind them and you jump out the escape hatch.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like anytime I try to take Anthony somewhere. So yeah, I get that.
It's almost like having a really dangerous kid.
Which is most kids.
It's almost like taking Anthony around. Yeah. Yeah. It's this week's crazy. In fact, tonight I have to cut short at 8. So we got
we got 35 minutes.
Yeah, I got another meeting I got to do. I got a work meeting I got to do at 8, and I couldn't push it off. And these people need some assistance, so I've got till 8, so we can go over some things. But I was reading this weekend. I don't know if you all read this, but this is Defenders of the West.
I forget if I've read that one or he did Sword and Scimitar too, right?
Yeah, he did Sword and Scimitar. So this one is about different warrior class Catholic warriors throughout history and their fight against Islam. But I was reading this to my daughter who's 13, and I was reading it to her, and this stuck out to her a lot. So it's quick. It's like 5 sentences. Louis attended mass daily, prayed punctually, and performed works of charity. He grew to be of courteous and gentle speech. In 1234, at age 20, the king married Margaret of Provence, whose beauty and religious devotion were renowned. They raised their 9 children, 2 others died in infancy, with pious discipline and severity. Like mother, like son, Louis once said that he would sooner wish that all his sons were dead than that they might offend God through mortal sin. So I read that to my daughter, and she's like, how would you feel that about us? Realistically speaking, y'all have already committed some mortal sins. Like I'm glad you're not dead, but that's the thinking I have to try and impart to my kids is you have to do everything you can to keep from any type of mortal sin. If you do commit mortal sin, because it is so easy now because we have these little black boxes in our pocket all the time. Especially me and you have to do everything you can. And if you do sin, that you have to, do an act of contrition as soon as you can.
Yeah. Did you read that?
The first anime I ever watched is Evangelion. Is that it?
Okay. I've never
The
seen that
Evangelion
one.
series?
I've heard it.
And Akira, right? But this was 26 years ago. This is a long time ago.
This is in your emo phase.
It wasn't my emo phase, actually. And my I'm trying to think of some of my favorite bands at the time. Alkaline Trio was one of my favorite bands. I don't know if you ever heard of them. Who else? Dashboard Confessional was kind of like the pop version of a lot of these bands.
Yeah.
But man, I was listening to someone with the kids this weekend. They're like, "Dad, do you like this music?" I was like, "I don't like it anymore, but I used to." Then I got into a lot of like heavy metal, screamo type stuff. Like who Atreyu, got really into Atreyu.
Yeah.
Real big into Atreyu, but yeah, that stuff, man. I listen to it now. I'm like, why? Like, I still kind of like it just because I used to like it, Like, there's no way I'd let my kids listen to this.
I never got into like the screamo stuff, but I was big into like Iron Maiden, so some of the 80s, heavy metal, and then a lot of the power and symphonic metal stuff too.
Yeah.
And I do still enjoy it, I'll be honest.
Anime is singularly responsible for the downfall of Japan.
I mean, I think maybe 2 nuclear weapons maybe had a little something to do with it, potentially.
It was anime. I lived in Japan for 2 years, and that stuff is everywhere. And I can't tell you, I've never seen a masculine Japanese person when I was in Okinawa. Now, Okinawa is not technically mainland Japan.
Yeah,
they're really a mix between their Ryukyu Islands is a mix between Chinese and Japanese.
Right.
But I never ever saw a masculine Japanese man ever. They're all just very effeminate, and that culture is too polite as well, to a fault. And that's hard for us to see as America. It's a little easiest for us in the South because we're pretty polite down here, but they're not submissively polite like they are in Japan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a reason why their birth rate is not
like 1.2 or something.
It's they're in a race to the bottom with South Korea to see which one won't exist first.
And it was because they're materialist societies. When I went to South Korea in 2007, I think it was, they're very hedonistic, sexualized, materialist society. Now, you do have a lot of Catholic churches in South Korea as well. I did see, I was surprised at how many Catholic churches I saw there, but it's not enough to turn the tide. They're all just horrible.
Yeah, I mean, it's what's going to end up happening is the North is going to end up winning the Korean War just by default, basically, eventually by the year 2100. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They'll probably have a higher birth rate.
They do.
Like he'll just force they'll just all be Kim Jong-un's kids, right? But he'll have a higher birth rate. He's just populating all of North Korea all by himself. I can always tell when my kids come in here, oh, that's so bright. Because nothing, like everything's all out of whack. I've got a chicken in here again, but this one's broody, and so she's hatching eggs. So you won't hear her at all this time.
Not like last time.
No, last time it was like a farmhouse in here. It was crazy. I had to put them outside. And in fact, one of those chickens died, and so I had to feed it to the pigs.
So you started off with the quote from King St. Louis.
Mm-hmm.
You might know these 2 random facts, but my 2 favorite random facts about King Louis is one, and we talked about this on Avoiding Babylon the other day, but he went to mass twice a day, every day, only received communion 6 times per year. And then my second favorite random fact about him, no, that wasn't even one of my 2. Okay, so 3, that was number 1. Number 2, he wore hair shirts all the time. You're talking a king. Outwardly he had all these royal clothes, but underneath everything, he had a hair shirt.
Yeah.
And then my third favorite random fact is he was known to be very jolly and good natured. But on Fridays, as a penance, he did not allow himself to laugh.
I wonder if he had a spiritual director was like, hey, like
You
this
laugh too
laughing
much, man.
It's starting to be a little bit of an issue. On Fridays, you need to fast from laughing.
Throw a hand. Gotta reel that back in, King. Oh, trivia.
So
Yeah,
this is
18
this is
live
another
viewers.
portion from the book I had no idea about. So let me see if I can find it again. Oh yeah, here it is. So from his earliest youth, Louis had a frail constitution and was prone to sickness. Soon after learning about the jihadist sack of Jerusalem in late 1244, Louis fell severely ill with a high fever and dysentery. Week after week, his condition deteriorated until his family, leading barons and churchmen, found themselves helplessly standing around their young king's deathbed. Finally, on a gray day, he was pronounced dead. A sheet was pulled over him, and everyone in the chamber burst into tears, his mother hysterically so. Unwilling to give up on Louis, his brother Robert implored the corpse king to return, at which point Louis, it is relayed, suddenly sat up and cried that he would take the cross. For my spirit has long been overseas, and my body will go there. It is God's will, and will wrest the land from the Saracens. Blessed is he who aids me in that.
Well,
So he died, and then his Robert was like, "Get up, you sissy!" And he got up.
you know that had to give his brother a big head for the rest of his life.
Look, bullying
Hey
works.
guys, remember that time I brought him back from the dead?
I literally called him a retard, and he got right back up. You'll remember that? Bullying works. It absolutely works.
Remember that, guys. If you're ever in a firefight and your buddy goes down, just call him a. Well, no, I can't use that word. Call him a retard.
Call him a retard. Get up, you sissy retard.
Yeah, sissy is not the word I'd use.
Trying to keep this PG. Have you seen the shirt that Nick Fuentes is selling?
Okay, I saw a tweet, but I assumed it was a joke. Not a joke.
That's the problem with irony poisoning. You can never know.
I hate it, guys. It's why I hate April Fools. I cannot stand April Fools. I hate it. My wife, I've had to tell my wife this every year, the day before. Like, if you pull something tomorrow, you are gonna be in trouble because I hate it.
I saw that. I was like, there's no way this is serious. Oh, you can buy it. 100%
Really?
buy it. Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's going to. So in the Marine Corps, when they were teaching us McMAP, Marine Corps martial arts program, whatever it is, they teach you just enough really to get your ass kicked, right? And a lot of guys like would learn a couple of moves and they go out in town and think they're bad and they get in a fight and get beat up. Well, I feel like this is going to be the same thing for like little white kids at college. You know, they're going to go to college and they're going to have this shirt on and people are going to know what it means and they're going to get beat up for it.
What does it say again?
Well, it's an initialism, right? So it's initials of what is it? WANG. What is it? I'm trying to remember. Let me see if I can find it.
Let me just Google this here.
Wang Hoff, I think is what it is.
Wang Hoff.
Yeah. White. Yeah.
Put it in the private jet.
Okay. We're having to we can't get blocked on our first show on our new channel.
I know, right? I can't believe I got Avoiding Babylon taken off of YouTube because of a gun.
I can.
Yeah, everyone's like, no, I get it.
Like, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, I said little white kids. You know, like none of these kids have ever been in a fight in their life. They're skinny little pencil necks. That's why they're at college, right? They've never done a day of hard labor in their life. That's why, some of the best seminaries require their seminarians to do hard manual labor during the summers when they're off.
Mm.
Right. A lot of the fraternal
Fraternity.
FSSP does it. The fraternity seminary does it.
Oh, yeah. I got to change the banner. Does say avoiding Babylon, doesn't it? Oh, well, deal with it, guys.
Look, we're not prepared. Just get over it.
I didn't make the channel. I didn't make the new channel till yesterday morning.
Which you shouldn't have done because it was Sunday.
I was up at 5:30 a.m.
Kid sick?
No, they were asleep, which meant I had time to myself.
Those are the golden hours.
They are.
And yeah, you can actually do stuff. I just get up and drink coffee, and sometimes I scroll my phone in the mornings because I can't do it the rest of the day.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's get into these stories. Since I've got 25 minutes left, let's do the which one you want to do first?
Well, I mean the one everyone's more familiar with is obviously the St. Peter's Basilica, and that's probably what more people are more likely to deal with in their parish. But obviously, the more serious one is the guy that did 200 bombs.
Okay,
Prep show. We're not prepared. Oh, darn it, you got us.
All right, let's do the Vatican one first then.
Okay.
You want to pull it up?
I mean, I don't have anything to pull up. I didn't.
Is there a let's see. Vatican.
Who had the article on it?
I think I saw Michael Haynes said something, didn't he?
Probably. I'll look him up real quick.
I'm just gonna do a quick Google real quick and see if we can find it that way. Let's see what AI says about it. Oh, here's an EWTN article. I'll put it in the
Michael Haynes does not have something.
He doesn't have anything?
No.
Here, I'm gonna put it in the private chat.
Okay.
There you go. Pull that up. So if y'all didn't see this, as Rob's pulling it up, a man decided to climb the altar to St. Peter's and urinate on it.
During Mass, right?
I believe so. Which we've had similar instances at other parishes around here. Let me see if I can. Let me look at this. All right. So as you got, because you have to climb the steps or jump the altar rail to even get up there.
Yeah.
The man was promptly reached by plainclothes police officers present in the basilica and was escorted out of the church. So my thing is what is the procedure? Like, do you have to reconsecrate the altar? Because I think they were just doing a penitential rite of some sort. Like, it wasn't. They definitely weren't saying they were reconsecrating.
Right. So I'm by no means an expert on this, and no one should probably listen to me to what I'm about to say. But my understanding is that something is only desecrated if it is used purposefully in a way opposed to its purpose. So if you take something that's like if you were to hold a black mass on an altar, then that altar would be desecrated. It would need to be reconsecrated. As far as I know, things like vandalism and such don't desecrate a consecrated item. Does this? I don't know. I don't know. But it would not surprise me if they come out and say that they do not need to reconsecrate it and just need to perform some sort of penitential rite.
Like, how many? So when the Pachamama was put on the altar, did they ever reconsecrate it?
I doubt it. Now that I think is more of a technical desecration than this. But I don't believe they reconsecrated it.
I think it shows a lack of seriousness and a lack of piety in the Vatican at this point. From Francis to now, there's no one that takes it serious. And I'm glad that plainclothes officers got to him quickly, because it's hard to determine what someone's motives are, right? Are they simple of mind and they just want to go up and see it? But still, like, no one should be getting on the altar. There should be someone stopping them there, which is a lot of reason that a lot of churches have ushers, is to help with that stuff as well. It's just the ushers are always like the oldest, slowest,
Most
guys in the
passive
parish.
aggressive thing
Yeah.
people in the world. Yeah.
And I think what we're seeing is a reminder every week of how lax a lot of us are, and how much we're unwilling to confront and kind of be able to step in front of people if it makes us uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
We've had issues here in our diocese where we've had people interrupt a mass by sitting in the front pew, writing stuff on their forehead in front of the priest. We've had issues with, at EWTN, a man tried to attack the priest during mass. So I think here in the South, we're a little bit more willing to do something.
Yeah.
Than a lot of your more liberal parishes, because that's what they're going to target. They're going to target very liberal parishes where they know no one's going to do anything.
They know they'll get away with it.
Right. These are very soft, easy targets. They're not going to go to the mass where it's a bunch of bumper stickers of NRA bumper stickers on the trucks and stuff. Right. They're going to go to the mass where there's rainbow flags everywhere, and they're picking these on purpose. It's the same thing with the psychologist who did the study with the prisoners, and going over, and talking to them, like, how do you pick a victim, right? Especially young kids. Like, how do you, some of these pedophiles and stuff, like, how do you pick a victim? And they always look for soft or weak dads or no dad, right? Because they can size people up. It is not hard to size someone up. Like, the best defense you can have for a lot of these things is just look dangerous. You don't even have to be dangerous. Just look dangerous. Right. And it'll off-put a lot of these people.
Just need a good hard BF.
Yeah. Yeah. My wife. Yeah. Well, I'm not saying anything about that one. But
too far already.
I get a lot of times where I have people who don't know if I like them, right? Because like, does Adrian even like me? Because like new people I meet at church or wherever. Because I've had to train myself to have that look, just to always, just because I've got 3 girls, man, and plus my wife, like, they need like, I can't be like, I would love to be the jovial guy, but I don't have that luxury.
I need to work on that, because I have the opposite problem. There, people that I absolutely despise will think I'm buddies with them. I'm like, I don't know how he could make it more clear to you that I really dislike you, but apparently I need to do that more.
That's that Midwestern attitude, though. Like, you're always just trying to be, just very convivial with people, and just, you don't want to rock the boat, make people upset. But like, I don't have Southern jarhead genetics.
I like how it's South Ron.
Southern. But I forgot my train of thought. I got complimented and I don't know what to do with myself. Like any man, I'm gonna hang on to that one for a year.
Yeah. Doesn't even matter that it came from another man.
I don't care. Whatever. It's nicer coming from a man. Like, they know what we go through. They know what we go through. Like, they're aware of the pains we go through.
I'm sure you've seen this online, but dudes posting W posted it a week or two ago. But the note, one guy left another guy at like Yosemite.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how he saw the guy camping with his kids, and he wrote this note to him like, dude, you're killing it. Keep up the good work. It's like, yeah, that does mean something.
It does. It absolutely does. When another man recognizes the good job you're doing, right? Regardless of what it is, like if you're, doing some type of trade or whatever, and he's like, man, you're killing it. Like, there's times that, I'm just out and I'll just compliment a man for no reason. Like, man, I love your hat. Like, I don't even know the dude, right? He's probably homeless. I don't know. I don't care. But like, that guy's day is instantly better, right?
That guy also.
Out with it. We're friends here. We're friends.
No, I'm good.
Mm.
Just
Yeah,
gonna
man,
say you
like,
make a hell of a bear, Adrian.
we
Mm.
I was at a McDonald's a couple of years ago, and we were like there's a car dealership down the street from it. We were getting new tires or something. And I went inside to get something to eat for the kids, and it was one of those things where like they had to wait outside. It was COVID or something, so I had to wait outside for it.
Yeah.
And the girl comes out and gives it to me, and right in front of my wife goes, "You have very beautiful eyes." I still hear about it to this day. That was 4 years ago. 3 or 4 years ago.
On one
Just
hand,
remember
like
that time?
on the one hand, you're still holding on to it, like, yeah, I got nice eyes. On the other hand, it has not been worth it because of the crap you've received
It
from
hasn't.
your wife,
It
right?
hasn't. I'll tell you. So my oldest is 13. I got a ticket for running a red light in 2018, maybe even 17. I
Okay.
still hear about it today.
Of course.
She's like, "Dad, remember that time you ran the red light?" Because they had my picture and everything, right? As I'm like running the red light, you know. She's like, "Remember that
They
time you
sent
ran
that
the
in the
red light?"
mail.
Yeah, they sent a picture of me running the red light. It was in Marietta, Georgia. Yeah, I remember.
That's funny.
I remember because my kids won't let me forget it.
Of course.
Yeah. All right. So let's do this other story.
Well, okay, but with this at St. Peter's, like,
Yeah.
something like this happens in your church. Some guy comes up, pulls down his trousers. The heck do you do? Like,
Well, hopefully you've got someone on staff that's really good with a slingshot or a pellet gun. So like that's a guy where like you just grab him
just
any
tear
way
him
you
down.
can, do it down and dirty, and get him out of there. Right? You don't worry about being nice. You don't worry about not hurting him. You just get him down and get him out of there. If he's at that point. Now, that's why it's so important for a lot of church security teams to learn more de-escalation techniques than anything.
Yeah.
Because you're going to use that more than any other skill you have. And it's why it's also important to have men on your security or your safety team, whatever you want to call them, that have the right temperament for it. Right? You don't want anybody that's just looking to hurt somebody. You want to have people who are willing to de-escalate things if they need to. Because we had an incident, I don't know, probably 6 months ago. We're in the middle of mass. We're not quite at the consecration yet. And an old gentleman from the neighborhood just comes in and starts walking up down the aisles. And he looks like he's looking for somebody. And then he leaves. And so I walked out to, I was like, "Hey, can I help you?" And apparently some guy just robbed him and ran away, and he thought he ran into our parish. Right. But I was the only one that got up. Well, no, I take that back. We did have a security guy, but he was so far away he couldn't get to it in time. But but no one else like thought anything, and it was out of the ordinary. It was somebody obviously had never been here before.
Yeah.
He's obviously not dressed for mass, so it
You're
wasn't
looking for someone in there to hurt.
Yeah.
You have no idea.
Yeah, exactly. But I was the only one. And so I wonder how many guys after that made the decision, okay, next time I'm going to get up. Right. Or next time something happens, I'm going to be the one that does something, because when I'm at mass, I sit specifically next to the door, one of the doors, and we have 2 doors that come in from the parking lot. And I sit next to one because if something happens, someone comes out of the door to do something, I want to be able to react to them first. And we've got a couple of guys who stepped up on our safety team who are helping now. And to be honest with you, it's really better for single guys to do it. That way the married men can be with their family during mass. But if you don't have anybody, it might be you that has to step and do it. But it's a matter. We have a society of people who avoid confrontation at every cost. They don't care. Like they just, whatever they do, just to not make a fuss. And that's a matter of, that's how you raise, that's how they've been raised.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest with you, that's how I was raised.
It
took the Marine Corps to break that out of me. So I get it. But we've got to do better by our sons.
For sure. Okay. So I have the story on this DC event. Just get it the right size here to share. Okay. Here we go. So this one, it says a hate-filled New Jersey man arrested before the annual Red Mass in D.C. had at least 200 explosives in a tent outside, and a notebook declaring hatred for ICE and the Supreme Court justices who were due to arrive at the Catholic Church. So he was 41. He pitched his tent, really? On the steps of the Cathedral of St. Matthew the Apostle, and allegedly told cops who approached him, "You might want to stay back and call the federales. I have explosives." During attempted negotiations with officers, he allegedly handed them a notebook in which he espoused hatred for the Catholic Church, Supreme Court justices, Jews, and U.S. Immigration and Custom Enforcement, according to the document. And there he is right there. So I guess my question is, why did anyone allow him to pitch a tent on the steps of the church?
Well, it's DC, right? And there's a lot of homeless in DC already. And it's also it's the Cathedral Parish of Wilton Gregory, isn't it? No, who's there now? Mahoney? McElroy? Who is it?
Well, it is Gregory.
Is it Gregory?
Yeah,
no, it's not Gregory anymore. Isn't it McElroy?
No.
Who just came over from San Diego?
I guess McElroy. Yeah, you're right.
And
because Gregory was Atlanta, but he
retired. He aged out.
Oh yeah, okay. Everyone's saying McElroy.
Yeah, he aged out. And he's
it doesn't matter. They're the same person, more or less. But
he's just
black.
He's a liberal, so he's not wanting to do anything for the homeless. And even better, if the guy had like an Israel flag on his tent, he probably would have left him there as well. He's like one of us. But
but no, but he hated the Jews too.
My issue, I don't say my issue, but one of the things I noticed was that he made sure people knew he had it. He didn't ever want to do anything.
Right. There was, I'm not going to say there was no danger, but the threat was actually pretty low, really.
Yeah. He had a lot, and who knows if it was even viable at all. You can just shove a bunch of black powder in some pipes and say it's a bomb. But if you don't have any means of actually lighting it. But
by the way, we are not instructing people how to do this.
Correct. That's correct. There are other ways to learn that, and it's not on YouTube. But what I have seen lately, especially with the uprising Antifa and escalation of a lot of these far left black bloc groups, whether John Brown Gun Club, Redneck Revival, whatever it is, one, they've all started to go underground now that they're considered a domestic terrorist organization.
Yeah, you have the guy who wrote the handbook flying out of the country.
Yeah. So you're seeing a lot of these, they're starting to go underground, which is good and bad. It's bad because it's harder to track them. But it's good because they're not going to have as much influence on some things because they have to lay low. I think from here, you're going to see even more escalations. In fact, I would not be surprised if we don't see some type of Antifa S-Fest before the end of the year. I wouldn't be surprised at that at all. Because especially if they're transgender, they're already going to kill themselves anyway.
Like that Air Force airman.
Yeah, just lit himself on fire.
On fire. He had the ideology of Antifa.
Yeah.
If it was this year instead of last year or whenever it was, why not blow yourself up instead of just light yourself on fire?
So we all have to be more aware and hyper vigilant about these things, because especially if you live in very urban areas, and you don't have the capability of getting out of them, because a lot of people don't. I was looking at a thing today that there are 20% more houses for sale that have been on the market for 6 months than there was in 2008.
Yeah, it's not good.
So most people don't even have the capability to get out of some of these urban areas. And that's where you're going to see a lot of the conflict, because it's much easier to meld in anonymity into these urban areas than it is out in the more rural areas, where everybody knows everybody. even the suburban areas, it's easy to meld in because a lot of these houses, nobody talks to anybody, nobody knows their neighbors. And so you're going to see this a lot more, especially now that you're seeing the president send troops into Chicago, and he's talking about sending them into Atlanta. And
They're in Memphis.
It's just going to get worse. And it needs to happen, honestly. And I hate to see it. And I hate that we have to come down this path because the former libertarian in me like hates seeing troops on the ground. But if the cops aren't doing their job, someone needs to, which makes things even worse. You know, we had another shooting here in Alabama this past week, and you know, it's not really uncommon west of 65 in Birmingham because that's it's mostly black area west of 65. And that's probably the most dangerous city in the entire country, honestly. But it's all black on black crime out that way. And when the police are having to beg people to stop killing each other on live TV here in the city, things have gotten out of control. You know, but it's creeping out everywhere. You know, anywhere there's public transportation, you're going to see it creep out into your area. That's why you'll see very affluent areas outside of metro areas fight against any type of rail or bus or anything come out to the area because they know it brings crime. So we have to be very aware of what's going on, and y'all need to, as we said in one of our first shows, keep your head on a swivel and pay attention to what's going on.
Even you know, even out in rural areas like where I'm at, we don't have the crime. You know, we don't have the demographic issues, but a lot of small towns, small cities are dealing with budget cuts. And like the city I'm in, 1,500 people, you know, has or had 3 officers, you know, to be able to pull round the clock coverage. But due to budget cuts, they're having to cut down to 1 full-time officer, which means there will not be 24/7 coverage. And people who want to break the law are going to take advantage of stuff like that.
And there's a really good book by William Fortune called Day of Wrath. Day of Wrath, I think is what it's called. And he basically posits the idea of if ISIS were to actually conduct some type of attack here in the United States, and they wanted it to be multipolar, and they wanted it to affect as many people as possible. And basically how he says it would happen is you'd have multiple teams in multiple cities throughout the United States. And the first thing they do is they would hit a hit a school. And they hit a school, but like most of the time, the training that we had when I was in the fire department was someone who's shooting up a school, as soon as they see you, they're going to kill themselves. Right. And that's what they train to. So if y'all watch any of the interviews with Sarah Adams, the thing we're most worried about is secondary and tertiary attacks. Right? So they attack a school. And then once they attack the school and the police show up, right, then they have another team come in behind the police and attack the police. Then once they get a bunch of people down, well, then they bring in the ambulance to help the people. And then they set up a V-bid in the middle of all that. Well, if they do this at, say, 3 or 4 schools throughout the country, right? Everybody, and they're just random. There's no meaning to it. And everybody's scared. Everybody's locking up the highways trying to go get their kids, right? In every city in the United States. And once the highways are locked up, then you have other teams coming into the highways and just walk down the cars shooting people. Just walking down the highway doing it. They're going to have a hard time in the South because everybody's carrying. But up north of the Mason-Dixon, it's going to be like shooting, you know, fish in a barrel.
You do that in New York?
Yeah.
I mean,
you have all kinds of casualties. And it's very low tech to do that. You don't need a lot. You just need firearms and ammunition. That's all you need.
Well, that's something great to leave us all with. Thank you, Adrian.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Any final words here?
It's today is the anniversary of Fatima.
Yeah, miracle of the sun.
October 13th. Like we've talked about a little bit. I think 2029 is going to be a big year for us. So I think it's going to ramp up to 2029. Maryland's not Southern.
Maryland. If Virginia's not really Southern, then Maryland sure isn't.
Now, the only state north of the Mason-Dixon I could give Southern citizenship would probably be West Virginia.
Yeah.
They're the only state that's wholly in the Appalachia region. The only state that's completely enclosed. I'd give it to them. They're honorary Southerns.
I mean, and they were part of Virginia before. You know, they're the counties that split off during the Civil War, but
Virginia is not Southern, man. Not no more.
things change.
Yeah, things have altered. Maryland is not part of the South. My wife gives me a hard time because I'm from Kentucky, and she's like, Kentucky's not part of the South. You're basically Indiana.
But with bourbon.
But with the best bourbon.
The best.
All right, I really have to go.
Okay.
But we will do this again next week. And I'm going to see if I can get Chivalry Guild back on here.
That'd be great. That'd be good.
We want to talk some more about these Defenders of the West we were going over.
Yeah. I'll probably read that book before then because I've read Sword and
Well, you can
Scimitar.
read it in chunks is the nice part. You don't have to read it all at once. You read like
Right.
each person that you want to read about. It's very good.
Cool.
All right,
Well,
guys.
thank
We'll
you.
talk y'all next week.
Everyone, try to share this if you can to grow the channel. We only have like 150 subs right now, so try to grow the channel. That'd be really we'd appreciate that. But we'll see you all next week.
Subscribe and share.